it's Liz Yuille from Old Sables Crafts again. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to make these cards. These are my thank you cards for people who placed online orders with me in June. So I need to make a few, which is just as well because this one I thought I had made a video of. However, I hadn't. I forgot to hit record because there are moments when my brain really doesn't work. However, fortunately, there's another colour ribbon because I was trying to keep all the colours in with this ribbon, and fortunately Old Olive is one of them. This is the Stitched Edge ribbon. It's new in the catalogue this year. Most of the ribbons this year are new, which is really exciting. So this is Pumpkin Pie, Rich Raspberry, Old Olive, and there's also Pacific Point, which is a ribbon colour we've not had for a while, so that's nice to have. So this uses fairly minimal supplies. She says, looking at it and realising it actually uses quite a few. However, the first thing it uses is one of the Hostess sets. Remember, those are in the back of the catalogue and they are subsidised. So this is a £9 set. You can only buy it with Stamping Rewards. If it were to be retailed, it would come out at £14. It has that information in the catalogue. So worth bearing in mind that this is subsidised. And is only £9 and is an exclusive set only for Stampin' Rewards people. Which brings me nicely to a reminder that you've only got until the end of this week, Friday the 30th of June, to place an order that if it's over £300, you get an extra £30 in rewards. So it's the perfect time to think about pre-planning for Christmas presents, getting together with your chums and putting in a large order. And you may think I'm mad to say Christmas presents, but let's have a look in the catalogue. So this is my catalogue, which I've had bound so that it's easier for me to use, particularly on videos. At the front of the catalogue, we have got kits. There is this lovely Soft Sayings card kit, which, can you see all of it? Yes, you can. Which comes with everything you need to make 20 cards, 2 of each of 10 designs, and you can also get a refill kit. So this would make a perfect present for a crafty friend. So that's one thought. And as I say, that's everything you would need for 20 cards. And if you're buying it for yourself, you can then buy the refill kit, which comes with all of the consumables. So it doesn't include the ink, the block and the stamps because you've already got those. It just has all the other bits and pieces. Then of course there is the Love Today planner, and you will have seen my videos on that. And I will be keeping on doing those, just keeping you up to date with that. And if you've got lots and lots and lots of stuff that you need to plan for, or you're an 18-month planner person, then that also has a refill kit, which is everything other than, let's see, other than the page turner and the binder itself. I think that's right. Includes everything you need to restock your binder. So the divider pages, calendar pages, 4 more of these photo pages. Oh, it does include the page lifter and the stickers and the sticky notes. So it is everything apart from the binder itself. And if you do get that, if you get one of the Memories and More 6x8 albums, you can keep all your spare bits and pieces in the Memories and More binder because it's got the same rings. So I think the only other thing it doesn't include, thinking about it, is the envelope pages. Let me just check. Calendar, photo, page lifter, and sticky notes. Doesn't actually list them. I will have to order one and find out. So there's that. So the planner itself, and also this Oh Happy Day kit, which was in last year's catalogue. So this is really bright and jolly. This isn't refillable, but again, it comes with everything you need. And there's also the Heat Embossing Project Kit, which comes with all of the consumables, and then you need to buy the stamp set on top of that. And there's some other bits and pieces that you would need to add, so inks and a heat tool and bits and pieces like that. But for a crafty event with your friends, this would be lovely. It makes 15 cards, 5 each of 3 designs. So 3 of you could get together and make 5 cards each, which would be a fun way to spend a day. So there you go. That's why I say Christmas isn't far away. It's only 6 months away, which is frightening. Anyway, procrastination over. Let's get on with this. So what am I using? I am using an Old Olive card base, which I've scored. This is A4 cut in half, scored down the middle, and you fold towards the mountain. So this is the dip where you've actually scored. This is the mountain where it's a lump, and you fold that way. I am about to start a series, probably get it going in July, a number of series actually with themes, and one of them will be tips and tricks. So it'll be things like that, just going through some of the fundamentals. So Old Olive card base, a piece of Whisper White that doesn't need to have dimensions as such, other than it needs to be large enough to take the largest lots of labels framelit. All of the dimensions will, by the way, and the supplies that I've used will be on my website, which is the associated post will be linked below. Then I've got a piece of shimmer white cardstock, and this is cut at my usual smallest layer, which is 5.5 by 3 3/4 inches or 14 by 9.5 centimeters. A scrap of Old Olive, a scrap of Whisper White, and I do mean scraps. And then obviously a small piece of the ribbon. In fact, that's 4 inches. Then I will be using Early Espresso, Old Olive, and one of the new in colours, Berry Burst. The Tranquil Tulips stamp set, obviously. Thoughtful banners, because I've got a thoughtful banner with thank you. The matching punch. And anything else I will let you know about on the way. So let's get started with the stamping of the tulips. I'm going to bring in my stamping piercing my piercing mat, and a brain would be really wonderful. If anyone has one to spare, I would be very grateful for a loan of that, particularly as I actually need the Tranquil Tulips stamp set. So let me peel that off. You will notice that these are an interesting shade of pink. That is because the rich raspberry, because it's got a lot of the reddy pink tones in it, stains the photopolymer, and in fact the Berry Burst will as well. It doesn't damage them, it just stains them. So it's a bit like if you stain clothing. They're still clean, they're just not white anymore if it's a white stain. So I'm going to start with the stems and using an H block. I can never think of H block without thinking of that TV series about the Australian women's prison. Anyway, Old Olive, and going to ink this up. Now this is two-step stamping, but it's slightly different from some of the two-step stamps in that it does a lot of the work for you without having to stamp off. So you can see that's not a clean image, but it is actually what it's meant to look like. So it's meant to come out watercoloured. So don't worry that it's not, as I say, clean as such. So this is one of the leaves, and again I'm just going to ink that up, and you can probably see that that's not a solid image. It's what I would call pixelated, or like the photos they have in, or used to have in newspapers. I think they still do to an extent. So that's a pixelated image. You almost don't need the piercing mat underneath, because on the basis that it's not going to come out as a totally clean image, it's almost an unnecessary step, but you want it to be a proper image, even if it's not solid. And then there are a couple of extra pieces that you can add in to the leaves just to give them a bit more shape. That's one. I mean, it's very subtle. And then this one. So very subtle, but it just adds a little more dimension. And then we can go on to our tulips. So that's all I need the green for. I'll pop that to one side. I will need it back in a minute, but not just yet. So bring in the berry burst. I can't believe that a week ago I was complaining it was too hot. Fortunately, it cooled down in time for my Ronald McDonald birthday wishes event. So it was pleasant for that. I don't think 30° plus heat would have been terribly nice for all of the ladies who came out to help with that. We made 300 cards over the course of 2 days. Isn't that just lovely? And as I say, there's no stamping off required. It does all of the work for you. So that's that. Then bring in the smaller, and that was a C block, by the way. This is the smaller tulip. And again, ink it up full strength. And it automatically does the watercolouring for you. So yes, so now I've got over 1,000 YouTube subscribers and a cat hair on the stamp, which is not a good idea. I will be doing the giveaway as promised, so if you haven't already subscribed, as I say, do so. I will be planning the giveaway very shortly, and if you want to know when that happens, you need to subscribe so that you get the alert that it's happening. So the only other thing I need are the stamen, for which I don't need the berry burst. I will need that again, but not just yet. So there are a couple of stamen stamps. One is slightly larger than the other, so this is the larger one. So I'm just going to pop that in there, and that I'm using early espresso because I think the black is too black. I like the espresso being not quite black. I think it just gives a more natural finish for something like this, particularly when you're doing watercolour effect. You don't want anything too harsh, but that gives that slightly softer look. So that's all I need that stamp set for, so let's pop that away. And pop the early espresso away because I definitely don't need that anymore. So that can go back in my caddy. While I am stamping, I will bring out the banner for the thank you and the thank you for the thank you. I must sort this stamp set out. It's got into a bit of a mess. Ooh, flying stamps apparently. Right, so to make sure that this, because it's photopolymer, they can stretch a bit. So I've got fluff everywhere. I do love our cats, but so pop it down on a non-sticky surface, let it relax, and then pick it up with your block. And again, this is stained, it's not dirty, so if I stamp, you'll see it's not dirty. And I'm using Old Olive, but do I actually want to do it? I might do it slightly differently with this one. Only because the flowers were the colour that I was using last time. So I think I'll do the banner in Old Olive and the thank you in the Berry Burst. So ink that and leave it there, and there we go. So that's that. And then pop that away so I know where it is. Right, now to do the, let's close that. I need it again in a minute, but I'll close it for the moment because I have been known to put my hand in an ink pad, and it's not a good look. In order to make this curved, because as we've said this is stretchy stuff, what I would do is get a block, pop it over the image. Can you see that? Yes. Pop it over the image that you're going to stamp onto, put one end down and then curve it in the curve that you want to stamp. Now that is a lot easier when you haven't got the camera in the way. And then just ink it up. And there we go. And it's just got a very slight curve. Because it's a script, it's not that easy to see. But that would be the straight. So you possibly can just see that it's got a slight curve. So there we go. That's that. Let's just sort this out a wee bit. There we go. Right, so let me punch those bits out. So I'll close the lids for a moment. Punch this out with the banner, duet banner punch, banner duet punch, duet banner punch, one or the other. It will be listed below, so you don't need to remember. Right, I think that scrap really is scrap now. And then this as near into the corner as I can. There we go. That's about as saving as you can get. So that's those two, so I don't need the punch anymore. Right, okay, so that's those bits. I will pop those together later. Let's get rid of that, and bring in, wherever I have put it, I'm about to go completely mad, I think. That, and also, while we're thinking about it, I will cut that out. So, grab my much loved cutting plate. So this is the magnetic platform. Very, very loved cutting plate. The image, the largest of the lots of label dies, framelets, and just pop that. There is no specific place to put it other than so that it's all in there. And then I just die cut this very quickly. There we go. And pop that out. So that's that done. So there we are. Get rid of the fluff that's caused. It's the one thing you do need to just make sure that you get any fluffy bits off. Right, okay, scrap paper, because we're going to get a little bit messy and a little bit noisy, but only a little bit. So, berry burst, and just get some ink into the lid. A bit more, I think. And that's better. Bring in my aqua painter and a piece of tissue paper. Get that running, and then from the middle up, and I'm using the shimmery white cardstock because it does let you do a bit of watercolouring on it. The watercolour paper would allow you to do even more, but I actually like the shimmer as well, which you don't get in the watercolour paper. Hopefully I'm going to have enough water in this aqua painter to do the green. If you get too much water in here, wipe it out, but because the ink pad doesn't actually sit in that, So long as you keep them flat, that will be all right. This has probably got enough ink in it already. So, and again, working from the middle out, just so that if there is a fade, the fade is at the bottom, and try and work it so that you don't have any or too many harsh edges or lines. And then that is that. And again, if you have too much water in there, clear it up, but I'm comfortable that that will dry okay, and I'm going to keep that flat. So, noise. I will bring in my trusty cheese board, which for those of you who've watched me for a while will know I use for heat embossing, and it also works quite well, let's actually do it this way up, for drying off paper as well. So let me just clip that on, just on the edge, and then apologies, but it's heat gun time. So if you've been watching me for a while, you will know that there are two settings on the heat tool. One, and surprisingly, two. Two is for embossing, and one does nicely for just drying and is happily a little bit quieter. So we will dry that off. Having it on the board means that I can hold it without it burning my fingers, which is particularly useful for heat embossing. But it's not an essential step. Actually, I might just give it a quick, just for the sake of speed. Now when you do this at home, you can just leave it to dry naturally, but obviously it's quicker on camera to aid it a bit. And I'm just going to turn that over so that we can try and get a little bit of the curve out. We'll get most of the curve out in a minute with the glue, but oops, wrong one, that's better. Well, that was interesting. The battery ran out. So fortunately I did spot that everything had died, so hopefully we are in the same place. So all I'm doing is just drying out my piece of shimmery white cardstock. So we'll call that dry, as it's actually been quite a while taken to charge my battery again. So that's that. Let us, now I want to round the corners, and for the observant amongst you, you will have noticed that the Project Life, because our contract with Project Life has now ceased, we don't have a Project Life corner rounder, or indeed any other corner rounder, but we do, because we've got the envelope punch board, and this up here is a corner rounder. So there you are, corner, lovely, rounded, perfect. So if you have your envelope punch board, you have your corner rounder, and if you don't have your envelope punch board, why? Because you can make so many things with it. And it's really not terribly expensive. So let's bring in our card base. Now what I'm going to do to help flatten this out finally is run fast fuse, cat hair gets everywhere, fast fuse round the edge of the card, or the mat I should say, really, shouldn't I? And then, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to add some multi-purpose glue as well. You don't need a ton of that. And then get this the other way up. And there we go. Oh, I like this colour on it. It actually works really nicely. You can see the shimmer better. Well, I can see the shimmer better. And then I'm also going to put fast fuse onto the... You see, what I should have done is put the ribbon on. Okay, so we're going to be putting some fast fuse on the corners there, or the edges there, so that I can attach the ribbon. So let's pop the ribbon down, and then pop this over. Oh, there's a filthy fingerprint. Fortunately, it's on the back of the card, so it doesn't matter. I actually wanted a bit further up, I think. Right, so if I then curl that over and that over, that should be relatively straight. Yay! And I'll just pop another piece of fuse down the middle, get this onto the card, sort of in the middle, although it doesn't really matter. Actually, no, I think I put it up towards the top a wee bit. There we are. Right, so the only other thing I need to do is attach this with the edges of some dimensionals. They are perfect for this. I did actually have to fish some of these out of the bins at the weekend because some of the ladies who were helping me with my card challenge seemed to think that you could only use the hexagonal, oops, oh, I think I might have just got away with that, move that a bit, seemed to think you could only use the hexagonal bits in the middle of dimensionals for attaching things to card bases, and obviously you can use all of it because it's all sticky and it's all dimensional. So yes, I did have to rescue a few bits, but it's fine. I can rummage through a bin. Right, just pop that so that it's sort of straight would be good. There we go. And then I'm going to add glue to this so that I know it's in the right place when I come to stick this over the top. And because that's a wet glue, I've got a bit of wiggle room to get it where I want it, which is sort of there. There we are. So, 3 very nice thank you cards for my very nice online shoppers. Let's pull that down a bit. So, if you would like to shop with me, which I hope you will get a thank you card, and if you use the Hostess Code, which is 633BQMVY, which will be in the link below, or the information below, and also on my website. If you use this Hostess Code through to the end of July, you will get a share of Hostess rewards. You need to shop or place an order between £25 and £150 before postage and packing, and that's UK only, so that you get that share of the Hostess rewards. If your order is over £150, please don't use the Hostess Code, because you get to be your own hostess and you get to choose whatever you want with your Hostess rewards, possibly the Tranquil Tulips stamp set, because now you know what you can do with it, or some of what you can do with it. I'm sure you would like it. So anything else I need to let you know about, bearing in mind I have no idea what I've already mentioned. So between now and the end of June, we heart hosts. So if you've got a £300 order or more, which I know I did talk about, Christmas is coming. So there's that. If you want to see more ridiculous videos, hit the subscribe button, which is kind of down in the bottom corner there. And I think that's probably it before my battery runs out again. So I will see you again very soon. If you've enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and get ready for my giveaway. Brilliant. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you again soon.